So What with Miles Davis. What a fabulous piece, Ian. We were just talking while we were listening to it, weren't we, about Miles Davis. And what's great about what he does is the freedom he gives to musicians and vocalists to improvise. And it's actually the way that he structures it is that you don't end up having to go back to the beginning like you do on an ordinary standard tune. Because So What actually consists of two modes. It's got 16 measures of the first, followed by 8 measures of the second, and then 8 again on the first. And it just gives a lot of scope for improvisation. Now, you were talking as well about Miles Davis being quite influential in your own musical experience. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, I think it was Miles Davis that first made me really sit up and take notice of jazz, because we were a classical musical household, really. And I was a trumpet player, but a classical trumpet player.
Yeah.
I cannot honestly remember when I first heard Miles Davis. It may have been, I don't know if you remember, this is some years ago, but Alistair Cook did a series on jazz on Radio 3. So we're talking mid-70s probably.
Yeah.
And I think it was there, very likely, I first heard Miles Davis playing. And I thought, well, this was extraordinary. You know, I'd not heard anything like it before, and really wanted to find out more.
Okay, you've written a poem, and is it called So What?
It is called So What. And it actually, to some extent, bears out what you're saying, because it's one of my funny poems. It's one of my poems that intersects in different ways, so you can read the lines in two different ways.
Right.
It take two different routes to get to the end, as it were. And it sort of intersects a couple of things, some to do with the music itself, some to do with Miles's playing style. As you know, at times he adopted a very eccentric stage style. And partly to do, of course, with the black experience in the States when he was certainly a younger player, that he would suffer from exclusion, and there were clubs where, you know, you were allowed to pay but you couldn't buy a drink, and so on.
Yeah.
So all of that is kind of mashed together in this.
Okay, shall we hear it then?
So what? Those days he still held the gold bell straight. This is it, sucking the licorice pure black lyric that spirals from the microphone when the horn cuts in, like a curl of smoke. Unscripted, dynamic fluid in the shape of light. The only law, he claims, pours up, frees itself, is just the ground to stand and take the air. And now I'm just going to do it the other way around.
Okay.
Those days, he still held the gold bell straight, sucking the licorice from the microphone. This is it, pure black lyric when the horn cuts in. Dynamic fluid that spirals like a curl of smoke in the shape of light, pours up, unscripted, the only law frees itself. The ground, he claims, is just to stand and take the air.
That's beautiful, Ian. And who knew that Miles Davis was going to allow poetry rhythm improvisation?
Hi, this is Andrew Ackerman dropping in to tell you about Jazz Joint, happening every Friday night between 10 and 12 a.m. on Seclo Sounds. If you like funk or fusion, modern or Latin, or maybe even a slice of acid, we have it all covered in Jazz Joint. Oh, and the best jazz vocalists on the planet too. Jazz Joint on Seclo Sounds and TuneIn Radio.
Seclo Sounds exists as a community radio station celebrating everything great about Milton Keynes and the surrounding areas. It's completely run by volunteers, and we're looking for volunteers to take a variety of roles, from station managers, social media editors, sound editors, tech ops like Doug, who's here with us tonight. Give us a shout, Doug.
Hello.
That was Doug. Sales, trainers, administrators, producers, webmasters, schedule assistants, and someone to make the tea would be good as well. So if you think you can help with any of those things, why don't you drop us an email, volunteers@seclosounds.org. You're listening to Inspired by Jazz with me, Teresa, and the poet Ian McEwan. Now, Ian, I was very pleased to see on the list of tracks that you requested My Funny Valentine, because I've had a little bit of a struggle with this tune. And when I hear it, quite often it's played as a very kind of sad, melancholic tune. And actually, when you know its history, it really isn't that kind of tune at all. And it came from an actual stage show, Babe in Arms, which was on Broadway in New York City in 1937. And it ran for 289 performances. But in the original play, a character named Billy Smith, played by Mitzi Green, sings the song Valentine to Valentine, who is Val, played by Ray Heatherton. Now, in the song, Billy is actually poking fun at some of Valentine's characteristics, but ultimately affirms that he makes her smile and that she doesn't want him to change. Now, I think it's a fabulous tune, but as I say, it never quite sat with me, especially the lyrics, because when you listen to the lyrics, they really aren't sad. It's not a sad tune. And so I searched high and low over many weeks to find a version that I felt really reflected what the song was saying. And I came across this very young woman called Holly Mariah Grossman. And she is singing My Funny Valentine with a young band called the Will Bridges Quartet. And if you have a listen, see if you can see what I mean. She kind of gets it like no other singer has so far for me. Here it is, My Funny Valentine.
Comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't change a hair for me, not if you